Good afternoon, Debbie. Good afternoon, Dennis. Good afternoon, Pat. Hello, Chad. Oh, yes. I am waking up my inner guru. I am sitting on this amazing park bench in St. Petersburg, Florida. I don't know exactly where I'm at, like the exact park or place. I should probably figure that out so I could share that, because it's a really beautiful place. But I'm sitting out here this afternoon. Hey, Roger. You're going to keep all the snow up north. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to share this view with you before I get into what could end up being a long rambling video of me trying to sort some things out for myself and kind of document that, I guess, and share that with you guys in real time. But I got some things bubbling around in my head that I gotta kind of get out. Just like that guy right out there. See him? That's a dude fishing. And as you can see, there is a little beach area. If you walk down this way, which we're going to do, I'm going to take you to, there's some even sand volleyball courts, which is all the way at the end, and there's a beach area down past those trees. And you can just kind of wander out. I mean, you could just jump off of here. It's not that deep. Sometimes the tide goes out and there's just sand. But anyway, he's wandered way out. He just had to get out. He had to get out, man. Pat's got to run. Pat, check back with us later. That guy right there, he just had to get out. Just like me, I got to get some things out of my head about this inner guru shit. So what I've decided to do is take a walk with you. I'm right there. Along the seawall. I guess I'll have to go around the trees, but we're going to stay on the seawall, and we're going to take it a little bit, and then we're going to come back and, see what happens. How about that? So if that sounds like a good idea, some thumbs up, some hearts, hello, and then I'm just going to start a rambling here, if you don't mind. I may switch the camera back and forth because I don't know if I can stand staring at myself too long, because what I'm seeing in front of me is just so much more interesting. But I know it's kind of strange to watch a video sometimes and just listen. I'll tell you what, why don't you guys tell me? You may just kind of switch back and forth from time to time, or you want me to just flip the camera on my face and ramble? If anybody has an opinion, let me know. Hey, Bryn, I am in St. Petersburg, and I don't know the exact location of this park, but it is absolutely incredible. I'm staying with a friend who lives basically about 5 blocks that way, 4 or 5, short blocks. It's a fairly short walk, basically right down that street. So I can walk out the door and look down and see the water. So anyway, we're going to take a walk, and I'm going to talk about this inner guru thing, and you guys are going to have to kind of just hang out with me for a minute let me read some of these comments before I get to talking. Either way is fine, just stay on point. Okay, I'll try. Switch it up. Okay, on you. Cool, I love it. St. Pete. All right, here we go then. Here we go. So I'll leave it on me for a second. All right, well, thanks for joining me. again, I kind of make these Facebook Live videos when I kind of need to. I guess I am wanting to stay in touch with all of you who want to stay in touch with me. You know, people, some of you have followed me for a long time. Some of you just, you know, relatives wanting to know what I'm up to, friends, that kind of thing. And you ramble onto my videos from time to time. I used to post them on YouTube, and I just don't really care for that too much anymore. And so occasionally I'll post some over there, but primarily Facebook Live has become my way of communicating with my friends. But the other thing that it is for me, and honestly the most important thing, is that it's kind of my own record, if you will, of, you know, where I was at the time. And, you know, I go back and watch my own video blogs from 10 years ago. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I don't hardly even recognize that guy. You know, I cringe quite a bit when I watch my old videos. Some of them are funny and entertaining, and I think some of them are, you know, I think most of them are really, you know, raw and authentic. It's just that, you know, sometimes I just say the craziest things, and I go, oh my God. Sometimes I see the way I'm saying it, and I feel like, man, I look like a dork or something, you know, like, wow. Like if I were watching this, I wouldn't really like it. I have enough distance from it to kind of judge it in a different way than being there. And to be honest with you, you know, it's just weird. But it's like, that's me though. You know, that was me then, this is me now. And being able to kind of see that and have an awareness of it and learn from it has been invaluable to me. It's not for everybody, obviously, but for me it's been amazing. So these Facebook Live videos have now become my own way of perhaps speaking to my own children in 20 years from now, if they ever care to watch, or understanding myself a little better along the way and wandering back through them and wondering if I'm making progress. And man, this has just he's captivated my imagination. He's just sitting out there. Uh-oh. I almost got run over. Holy shit. I swear I didn't even see that guy. There he is. Okay, anyway, let me get back to it. So I make these for myself, and so if I ramble a bit, if I say things, if there's stories that are incomplete, I'm sorry. But this is a bit of a kind of a rambling narration of just a pile of energy and ideas that pile up in my head and just kind of have to come out. So anyway, yeah, here we go. We're coming into the beach area. You can see. Look at, is this just ridiculous? We'll get down there in the sand here in a minute. Okay, so I want to tell a little bit of a story here. I would call it the story of my faith. So the short version is, I was kind of raised with an assurance of truth about the universe and its creator, and my purpose in all of it. It was as clear as a bell to me at 3 years old, at 4 years old, at 5 years old, at 6 years old, at 7 years old, at 8 years old, at 9 years old, at 10 years old, at 11 years old. I'm at school and I'm carrying my truths, and I'm trying to talk everybody into my truths, because my truths tell me these people are headed for disaster in their lives if they don't know the truth. Then if I'm right here in front of them, then it's kind of my responsibility to tell them. And that's just the way my brain was wired. And there were absolutely no questions. My parents, a really strong group of relatives that were kind of all in the same type of faith together. People that I respected and admired, and friends that I had made my entire life. We all were in this thing together, and I loved it because I felt purpose. Well, that way of thinking started to let me down in my teens, and by my late teens, early 20s, I was completely convinced it was all bullshit. All of it. All of it. And I was angry, and everyone that I knew, everything that I knew, every relationship that I had, I never dated a girl that wasn't in my church or my denomination, my way of thinking as far as spiritual matters go. And I was fairly isolated from the world in this way of thinking. And to leave that made me feel very alone, but yet kind of intellectually honest and spiritually honest in a way that the people around me either weren't able to get there, or they're just too fucking stupid to even know better. Like, I was angry. Well, in my 20s, it was, kind of anger. In my 30s, it was apathy. I just didn't give a fuck. And in my 40s, in late 30s, I'm trying to find some way to be spiritual about something so that I don't ruin my children's lives. Like, somehow I'm like, well, I was raised in a safe world where God was handling everything, and you just went to bed at night and prayed, and you had some idea that things are going to be okay. And my kids are hearing from me, I don't know if I believe in anything, while their grandparents and their relatives are telling them God, just Jesus, 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 and their mother is Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe. And so I'm like, I just want to tell them something for sure. And I didn't know what to say. And so that disappointed everybody around me. It kind of disappointed me because I didn't know what to say. I'd like to say there's no God. This is all a bunch of horse shit. I'd like to say there is a God, and I know exactly. I have this relationship, and as a matter of fact, he has a little message for you. I'd like to be on that level with him, That'd be cool. I'm not. So I don't know anyone who is, actually, but I know who people say they are, but I ain't buying it. So anyway, yeah, and then, my 40s, I think I kept trying to find a way back because the emptiness and the anger was gone, and I still had all these wonderful, amazing friends who had all these crazy ideas about everything, but we all still loved each other, and we're all still close, and we're all rooting for each other. And this strange relationship I've had with my brother, who is a devout Christian and has dedicated his entire life and his life of his children and his wife to the cause of Christ, and made tremendous personal sacrifices and worked his guts out. I respect the hell out of my brother, but it's not a life for me. And everybody kind of coming to peace with their own truth and being able to kind of, as we've all gotten older, being able to live our truths, even when our truths say that, the people around us are not living the truth. You can just kind of go, well, I'm living my truth. And then somehow it got a little easier for everybody to just be friends as we got a little older. The fruit of our lives kind of have spoken probably more about our faith than our words have, or the lack of fruit in our lives. Some of us, our fruit has rotted on the vine in my own life plenty of times. So anyway, it leads me to this conversation I was having with my brother. I think it was yesterday. Might have been the day before. And I'm talking with Mark, and I said, Mark, I need to talk to you about something that's been stirring in me for weeks. It's been stirring in me a long time, but it's been really at the forefront of my mind for the last several weeks, and I've been trying to process it. I said, there's a spiritual side of me that is familiar, but yet brand new, that is not connected to any way of thinking necessarily. It is not connected to a religion. It is not connected necessarily to like a set of rules or ideas, but I have had so many things happen to me, purposefully happen to me, where I pray about things, even when I'm like, there's no God, it's just, what's it going to hurt kind of thing. Maybe if somebody's listening, you'll excuse me for my ignorance and help me anyway. But, what the fuck? And so but then, it happens so many times, and I've been incredibly lucky, and I am incredibly blessed, and wonderful, amazing things happen to me regularly that are so strange to me, and being intellectually honest, I have to say, there's something, I don't know what's going on, but it's not me, but it is somehow an energy that I am tapped into from time to time. And so I was talking to my brother about some events that have happened recently in my life, and I said, Mark, now listen. I said, if this and that happens, I said, do you understand? I'm going to have to kind of start talking about this. He said, what do you mean talking about it? I'm like, well, I haven't had really a lot to say for a really long time. When I was video blogging, I was obsessed with it. That obsession is gone. Now it's just more of kind of me kind of documenting for myself, not really so much sharing everything for everybody else, but I just don't really have a lot to say, though. I do my morning manifest, and that's about it. That's about all I've got to say. He says, what do you mean, say? Talk about how and why? And I was like, yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like, hey, everybody, listen. I'm not just telling you what's up with me, but we need to start talking about how and why, and maybe I can help some people. Maybe I can help myself by sharing some things that I do, or ways that I think, or how I manifest things, or how I don't manifest things, or what I believe about these things. I think I need to probably start talking about this. And so he said to me, he goes, oh, so you're getting ready to become a guru. And I said, a guru. I said, well, what is the definition of a guru? And it's it kind of sounds a little hokey pokey. And I looked it up, and of course it's a spiritual thing. And I hate to use that word. I would rather use the word energy or universe or force, but using the word God and spirit and all that shit, to me, it takes me in a shitty place. Maybe for other people it makes them feel all warm and cozy, but I would just say that there is clearly evidence, empirical evidence in my life that I would not really be able to, in some instances, explain and, corroborate, but in most instances, just know that there's something weird, bigger, more connected, more intelligent than just kind of luck and chance and there's just clearly something going on. I don't know what. I don't know if there's consequences. I don't know if it's if it's a competition. I don't know how to manipulate the system necessarily. But I do think I know how to have better chances than worse chances at succeeding at things I'm trying to do. I do believe that there are some patterns that could be really helpful in ways of thinking that could possibly be really helpful for others. And I'm starting to feel so incredibly overwhelmed with, like, when I do like a gratitude list about my life to kind of ward off the negative thoughts that attack me daily, all day long, as a matter of fact. The fact that they even attack me all day long, I don't talk about that much, or what they are, or how I combat them, or me analyzing why it happens. Anyway, the point is this inner guru, if you will, has started to want to come out, and it feels familiar to my past, meaning feeling like I have something to say, I want to say it, I have some ideas and some principles and some things I'm willing to, stand on. If I can just keep the balance, though. See, that's what this is all about, is balance. Down here is the water, the water of baptism for me was a big deal. And then the all the tree huggers and the earthers, the mother earthers, the hippies and the hallelujahs, the planters and the high priestess. You see what I'm saying? There's a balance somewhere. And I am trying to strike that in my own life daily. And I feel like I'm ready to start kind of talking about it, and not just doing my morning manifest, but more. I've been investing myself into people instead of products. Over the last couple of years, I didn't recognize it until recently that the investment in people has benefited me in a product way. Benefiting, investing in people have produced products rather than investing in products that produce people or find people or attract people. So I guess I just wanted to get it out there. I'm trying to kind of understand. Oh yeah. So this is oh yeah. I'm actually coming back up to my bench, which is right up here. And I want to get back on the seawall, which I had to avoid because of the shrubbery. Shrubbery? Just watched some Monty Python, sorry about that. Thank you, Netflix. But circling all the way back around, I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. That's the truth. So it's probably better that way. But no, this is what I was trying to say. I actually did remember. I'm just trying to think of how to say it. I have kind of been trying to really sum up some of my more passionate interests. I don't even know how to describe. I guess what I'm saying is I'm a real experience junkie. I really, at the end of the day, when when I've got everything I want or when I have nothing at all, I'm an experience junkie. You could say a distraction whore. I say experience junkie because it's like I just need to learn and grow and recharge. And I have done this over and over in my life, and I feel very wealthy because of it, a wealth of experience. like traveling, if you will. Traveling, you go somewhere, geographically. Experiences are kind of mental. They're physical sometimes they're spiritual, sometimes they're geographical, but they're always like intellectual. They're experiences, they're memories, they're tests, they're trials, they're something new, you're curious. So I often throw myself into experiences for a measured amount of time and kind of hold on to my core self in those experiences. But give myself fully to the experience, knowing I can kind of return to my core self, my core principles, if this experiment doesn't work out. So I'm sitting in this park bench, and I'm telling you, the climax of this whole story is that I am getting ready to embark on another experience and personal experiment. I'm going to throw myself for a period of time into a new system of thinking, a new operating system, if you will. I'm going to kind of gather my thoughts, and I'm going to present to you my, to myself, but I'm sure I'll share it with you, my new operating system. And I'm just kind of like live by some principled guidelines that I articulate for the first time in a long time, since my childhood. My childhood, I had an articulated system of principles and do's and don'ts and ways of thinking and answers to everything. Well, I'm not saying I'm put together a theory of everything, but just like, it might just be one sentence. I'm not saying it's going to be complicated, but just for a long time, because I was so sure, and then when I wasn't sure, I went from like everything to nothing. And I really kind of wake up and I wing it every day. And I'm trying to kind of like put all that winging it into like focus. Wake up my inner guru. Maybe get in touch with the middle, with the balance. And see if there isn't a way to kind of be, I will use the word for all of us to misunderstand. I am going to choose to embark on a spiritual journey, incorporating all that I've learned so far, and focus it. And I will tell you, in the simplest way, I now refer to myself as a burner, which means somebody who has not only been to Burning Man, but is in alignment with the principles of Burning Man. However, I wouldn't align myself with, for instance, Burning Man and say that's my religion, that's my creed, that's if if you're not into Burning Man, then I'm not with you, or whatever. Like, it's nothing like that. It's just like a large organization where people gather around a certain culture, a certain framework of ideas, and in that culture, which is created from that framework of ideas, Burning Man in this instance, that in that culture, I feel as comfortable, as beautiful, as loved, as happy, as free, as optimistic, as hopeful, as open, as curious, there's just nothing that I've experienced so far that kind of puts all that together for me at this place in my life. And that's kind of been a driving force for the last couple of years since I have been single. So I've been going down this path for a while. I've been collecting friends along the way, and it's like there's starting to become an echo chamber around me. of ideas that just not only do they make sense to me, they're making sense to all of the people that I know who are heavily invested, and they are living the lives that I've imagined for myself. So I'm launching out into this personal experiment where I'm going to collect my thoughts and my ideas of basically the way that I kind of purposefully live, but in a kind of loose way. I'm going to try to put that together and just kind of maybe give it a, I don't know, 6 months or a year, where you just kind of throw yourself into this way of thinking. You stop asking as many questions, just kind of say, okay, I have enough answers in this area to get me to think about some other things in my life. And then that I need to, I got to figure out some other things too, not just all the spiritual stuff. I got to figure out some day-to-day living. I got to figure out, where am I going? What am I doing? How do I make money? How do I spend money? So in a practical sense, when you have like a way of living and a philosophy and a kind of principled ideas, everything kind of comes into alignment. And, my physical fitness, meditation, these things will probably all become part of a total mind, body, spirit, thing. Probably what I eat, probably how I consume or decommodify, blah, blah, blah. And so I'll be making different life choices and things. Anyway, that's coming as my inner guru. As I'm waking it up, I'm walking into that room and I'm waking him up and saying, okay, come on back out. You're safe. It's cool. You don't have to go crazy. But it's time to come back. So, if in some period of time, which I don't know if it'll be 6 months or a year or 3 months, maybe it'll be a 3-month little trial. If at the end of that, I'm not getting the results, if the results are no better than, then there's no point in it. If the results are really good, then, I'll probably keep doing it, maybe make up some changes and keep, maybe update the code, my source code, as my friend Robert would say. And, reboot and try something else. So anyway, that sounds like a lot of fun for me. And I'm inviting all of you along for that journey, I guess right here on Facebook Live. And I may post this over on YouTube, but it will be the last one for a while because I'm on Facebook Live. If you want to follow along, that's where you can find me. And yeah, the video is probably going to be vertical. So once again, I'm sorry, but I'm kind of doing me. And I would like for you to join if you want to. If it's not worth the bother there. If it's not worth the bother, then peace out. Anyway, so I can't think of a more appropriate way of ending this video than not only balancing on this wall, but doing the morning manifest while balancing on this wall. And potentially, because you know how I like to spin at the end, not just embarrass myself in front of this never-ending parade of spectators, well, this direction, but possibly become delirious and end up in the water. So I think it's definitely worth, at least this last little segment, it's definitely going to be worth it. And there's a guy right here on the wall. I'm going to run right into him. Should I go past him or turn around? I want to turn around and go back this way so I don't hit him or anything. All right, here we go. I can and I will, focus on my desire to live the life that I've imagined, a life of balance. I can and I will stay close to this desire by reminding myself of it every day. Hello, done. No one can stop me but me. I just proved it. No thing can stop me until tomorrow. Hello, Mr. Obvious here. And the most beautiful part of all, it never gets old. After all of that, sometimes it feels a little heavy. But what if, but what if, but what if? And to that I say, right in front of this huge group of people, I say, but what if I only have to believe? It's possible. Whew! I did it. Almost. I'm not done yet. Just for today. There you go. Maybe that's my first. There you go. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I can't wait to see you again next time.